listen, if it were me, I would be praying for the ground to just open up so I can just dive in. Dive. Hey guys, welcome to welcome back to my channel. We are here yet again another week, but the difference is this week we'll be talking about all the highlights of the reunion as well as talking about the four couples fashion. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So I'm going to be giving out the best dressed award for the night to Alexis. Yes, you heard me right, and you know I'm not being biased because she is not my favorite person. But her hair, her makeup, her dress was very elegant and very put together. She takes the win for the night. Kyra was very elegantly dressed as well. She had on a nice champagne silk dress. However, sis, the makeup added about 10 years to her face and the wig made her look like one of our founding fathers. So I'm not understanding who did Kyra like this, who did her dirty, because this wig was terrible. Vernisha and Joelle looked really nice together, and Vernisha's dress was not my color. It's like a money green, but it suited Vernisha. It suited her personality. Her hair and her makeup, however, looked very nice. So overall, I would say they looked okay. Amber and Chris. Who released these two from Zamunda? Because that must be where they're coming from. Or they came off the set of Coming to America. I do not understand. Is that a snake around Amber's neck? I saw a whole situation and I was like, I must be tripping. Maybe this is a scarf that's just starched a bit too much. So it's a no for me. It's a no for me. I like the vibrancy. I like the homage to the blackness, but no. It's just no. It was too much. And together, sitting next to each other, his outfit is busy. Her outfit is beyond busy. It was too much. No. Liz and Jason looked nice together. The only thing I would say, Liz's dress was very nice, like a very pretty blue. But the situation around her neck, it took her neck away completely. So for me, she looked very uncomfortable for the night. And then with the scarf thing from her neck and then the big earrings, I think we've seen Liz look a lot better. I think she looks better when she styles herself. I'm assuming during the show that she was styling herself or picking her own outfits at least. So this outfit, it didn't look terrible, but it didn't do much for her. We know she can look better. So the show opens up with a reel of Amber and KG's relationship, and we've seen all the updates, all the highlights of their best and worst moments. And then Tommy asks them, how is it going, And KG was really the one doing most of the talking, I noticed. He said, oh, it's going great. We've been dating. So they're still dating, which is great. And Amber seems content. She's a little bit less vocal, but Chris was more than happy. So I don't think there's much to talk about with these two. Like I said in my other reviews, they were probably the most unproblematic couple thus far. They seem to have a friendship, even if they're not romantically as vibrant as we would like them to be. And so I do think it's a good basis for a relationship between these two. But as far as we know, as the reunion tells us, they're still dating, and let's see how that goes as time passes on. Next reel we see was Kyra's reel, and basically it showed her highlights, and Tommy introduced her by saying, this was the woman who at one point all the men wanted to be with her. All the men were selecting her, and we almost had to change the name of the show to Ready to Love Kyra, as we know that to be true. Of course, Alexis is over there scrooging and hating, and eventually she had to jump in to say, Tommy did ask her, how does she feel about, Kyra or something to that effect. And she says, well, I have my doubts about her motives, because to me it seems like, I guess she wasn't being authentic or genuine, but more so that she was trying to make it to the end of the show. Alexis is a hater, bro, like a whole hater. I'm not gonna lie, today would be the day to hate, because Kyra's wig was wigging, and not in a good way. But Alexis just needs to let it go. Stop arguing with people over guys who aren't interested in you anyway. So that's exactly what Kyra said when they went backstage. And even on the stage, Kyra also said to her, like, don't question me because your men are picking me or choosing me. Who you need to question is them. And so, Alexis was like, can I finish? The bitterness is real, guys. It's real. Oh my god, these two, comical relief. So after that moment, Kyra goes backstage and then we see her talking to Alexis. I actually thought they were in some sort of confrontation, but what she was actually relaying was that every time she heard something where there was some sort of trouble between any couple or anything getting back from, the gentleman's lounge and the ladies' lounge, she found that Ron was the one who was actually in the center of it. And Kyra was letting them backstage know and us, the audience, know that Ron was kind of bitter towards her because he tried to date her or approach her. And she was like, I don't like Ron. And I made that clear to him. And it seems like that's the reason why he has some intentions, some cruel intentions towards her. So that was interesting to find out because, of course, we only see certain clips. We don't get to see everything. So we didn't even know that Ron was interested in Kyra. So we already getting the tea. There was a missing person. Tressa wasn't able to come because she tested positive for COVID. But let me just say, look at this picture of her. I must say, Tressa looks so much better with faux locks or, a hairstyle that comes down. I think if she probably dressed the way she dressed now or fixed her hair this way, she looks much better, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but for me, she looks a lot better than with the big red hair that was just wigging. Okay, so that seems to be the theme of this reunion. But yeah, she looks really good and she's doing well. And she says she's still single, still looking for love. But we love to see Tressa, even though she was not on this show. Briefly, Tommy spoke about Christian and Khalil and their elimination and spoke to them about what it felt like being the first two people to go home. And then we got updates. Let me say, Khalil, as an older gentleman, has the potential to look so much better than what he came on. He came on the show looking like a kindergarten teacher, like no sir. But on the reunion, he has a bald head, he has a nice full beard, he has in his little earring. His suit was so much better. The color, the tailoring. I was like, Khalil, why didn't you, or Khalil, whatever his name is, I was just like, why didn't you do yourself justice and come on the show looking your best? So he looks much better. And also Christian, and we got updates that Christian has been talking to Andrea, if you remember her, and she was the one who actually liked Troy, which was weird, but they're dating, and he asked her out on the show, which was such a little sweet moment, and she said yes. And then Khalil revealed that he was dating Ida. And listen, I actually liked Ida when she was on the show. Yes, she did talk your ear off, but I didn't mind her personality. But on this reunion, sis came in with all the attitude. And I was kind of wondering, like, what is her problem? Because Khalil, I suppose she did say, like, oh, I didn't know we were going to reveal that today, because apparently she asked him before if she could put it out there and he wasn't ready to do so. So I guess she was taken off guard that he put that information out there. But I feel like that's something that you're mad about for a second. Like, oh, I didn't know we were doing that, and you kind of let it go. She was popping the neck, pursing the lips, rolling the eyes. I was just like, what is wrong with her? And while she's doing that, he's like, oh no, she's a wonderful woman. She's peaceful. She's a joy to be around. I'm just like, really? Because we're not seeing that. We're not seeing the person that you're addressing. We're not seeing the person that you're talking about, sir. So I don't know if she was just in a bad mood or what, but we could have done without seeing her tonight with all that attitude. The next set of reels that we see are Ron and Chrysanthemum and Ron and Alexis. And so when we play back the reels, we kind of realize that Ron was out here telling both of them that they were the one, and then kind of talking some type of way when, he was with the other person. But that's Ron for you. And we're going to learn so much about him at this reunion. I digress. We also see Alexis telling Ron, she sees herself with him because he has a priestly king vibe. Does he? At the end, of course, we see the ultimate clip that ended them, where he said that she eliminates him and he tells her, oh, I thought you were smarter than that, which she took grave offense to. After the elimination clip played, so Tommy tells Ron, in my 4 years of doing this show, I've never had a man speak to a woman the way that you spoke to Alexis. And he explained to him that there's a way to, I guess, disagree with someone, but still have a certain respect level. And then he asked Ron to apologize. Listen, Ron said a whole lot of words, but he never apologized. He said, I take responsibility for the conversation going the way that it went because it went too far. But nowhere in that did he say he was sorry. Nowhere did he like look to her and be like, Alexis, I really was out of line. Instead, he tried to justify it and telling us that, AJ was out here treating her every type of way, and that's what he was mentioning when he said you're smarter than that. Ron is disrespectful, absolutely. He's also condescending, absolutely. But I must say, I do agree with him. I feel like because him and Alexis had a relationship or of some sort, I'm guessing they got very close. He probably felt like he had that kind of relationship with her where he could tell her like, oh, this guy out here have you looking stupid, because somebody needed to tell her. And even at this reunion, she still came and, but I'm getting ahead of myself. But you know what I mean? I think he was just trying to let her know, like, nah, it's getting to a point where he's embarrassing you, okay? Because then he told a story where AJ apparently left her waiting in a room for over 2 hours. So Tommy looks to AJ and asks him, so tell me, where were you? Why were you not there with her? Why did she have to wait 2 hours? AJ was like, oh yeah, she was waiting, but I was downstairs with the fellas. I'm sorry? You asked me to wait on you, or you said you're coming to meet me. And first of all, why was Alexis there for 2 hours? I feel like after somebody's like 30 minutes late at most, I'm gone. Like, why am I sitting there for 2 hours when I know you are downstairs chilling, having a good time? It's not like you're on your way to the location. We're at the same location. I'm not waiting 2 hours. So she is wrong. And then he just has no care in the world, and she's just not paying attention to it. She's hearing and seeing what she wants to see. So I do agree with Ron as far as that goes. But yeah, the other parts of it, he could have said it better. He could have been like, I care for you, and even though you don't want to pursue a relationship with me, blah 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 blah, something along those lines. I still want to see the best for you. But no, he was just out here being petty, like, you embarrassed me, I'm gonna embarrass you. That was really what Ron was doing. But Ron is the gift that keeps on giving, because after all the Alexis stuff, they showed Ron's reel of Amber, him and Amber, and the whole situation and mishap and confrontation between Amber and Alexis. And so after that, Ron is like, yeah, me and Amber went out on many dates. Amber's like, no, we didn't. And she was dead serious. She was like, you're not about to drag me through the mud with me sitting right here. So then he changed it. He was like, okay, well, we went out on a couple dates. Amber said, no, we didn't. No, we didn't. And stop lying. Ron said, okay, well, we went on one date. I'm like, Ron, shh, shh. I don't know how we went from many to some to one. Get your story straight. And then how you gonna lie in front of the person when they're right there, when they can defend themselves? You lie when you're by yourself and they cannot counter your arguments. I don't understand Ron at all. But when I tell you, Ron gave me laughs this reunion. He was the highlight of the show for me, because Ron is brazen. Brazen. Ron goes backstage. He's so discombobulated. I mean, when you just need somebody to be on your side. So he's telling Jason, like, I'm the victim. Because Alexis is the one who went and cheated on me. She's the one who kissed AJ. Like, almost like, I don't understand what this is, trying to make me out to be the bad guy. Jason was there like, you don't want to tell somebody they're dead wrong. Jason was like, bro, all we can do is like scratching his head like, all we can do is really just own up to our parts in things. Like, Jason was like, look, don't drag me into this rubbish, okay? I'm out here with my own problems. Oh God, just embarrassing. Stop talking and go sit in the corner, Ron. Go sit down. So the next reel that Tommy shows is Chrysanthemum and Stacy, Frick and Frack, as they call themselves. And basically, the reel just showed us that they were annoying as hell and it was time for them to go, okay? So Tommy eventually asked them after their reel plays, like, what made you guys so close? Like, what was the basis of your relationship? Why were you guys so connected? And these two idiots didn't even know why. They were like, I don't know. Oh my God, look, we said I don't know at the same time. And eventually, Chrysanthemum was just like, well, we just get each other. So I get that. And then Stacy was talking like, oh, she feels like it's a double standard with the guys because some of the guys became very close and, they just had a problem because maybe they were threatened by the relationship. Look. I ain't even got time to say all the rubbish that she said. There's a difference between being close to someone and being like obnoxiously close. You two are obnoxiously close. It was impossible to talk to them, and even when they were by themselves, however small of a chance that would be. I remember, like in the clips, in the reels, we see Stacy by herself talking to someone, and she spends the entire time talking about Chrysanthemum. Why is it that you're so fixated on this one individual? And there were other female friendships that we didn't even know about. Like, for example, Kyra and Vernisha apparently got very close on the show. We can see that they're friends, but they were individuals as well. And so I just feel like her point was completely lost because it does not relate to the situation at hand. They're annoying, bro. Like, very annoying. Tommy asks them, both of them, if they're dating or if they found love off the show. So Stacy says she's dating someone. I guess someone off the show because she didn't mention anyone on the show. And then Chrysanthemum says she's dating, but no one person. Listen, I don't understand Chrysanthemum because in a video clip we saw of her in the reel, she also said that she's not looking to be anyone's girlfriend. So why did you come on a show called Ready to Love? She's giving the impression like she just wants to multi-date, she wants to have a good time, but she's not necessarily interested in being in a relationship. Look here. On the application form, I'm gonna need y'all to put if people are interested in a relationship because y'all be bringing people on this show to waste our time. Chrysanthemum, Kyra, get lost, y'all. If you're not looking for love, don't come on the show. Then things got really good because Tommy ran Alexis's and AJ's reel. And I'm telling you, the cringe was so much. It was so hard for me to watch it. Like, throughout this entire portion of the show with AJ and Alexis, secondhand embarrassment, it was off the charts. So after the reel finished running, Tommy asked AJ, so how did you go from, wanting to be with Alexis, kissing Alexis, to changing your mind? And AJ's answer was just all over the place. He tried to blame Alexis's relationship with Ron because he was like, oh, Ron was always in her top and only because. So Tommy was like, but at this time when you were supposed to choose her, Ron was already gone. And he was like, yeah, but Ron was always in her top, and it kind of seemed like she was only onto me because he was gone. And then eventually he was just like, look, and also he changed his mind because he realized that his relationship or his feelings for Kyra were stronger because of something Tommy said when Tommy told him that he will know the person he wants to be with because when she comes into the room lights up. So really and truly, he just needs to be honest and just be like, listen, Kyra was the one I wanted all along. I was never really interested in Alexis. But he didn't really say that. He prefaced it with other things, but we know the truth. So Ron actually chimed in with some sort of comments as to how he treats Alexis. And so AJ diverted, which I think he just did because he was on the hot seat. So he was like, oh, Ron, since you chimed in, tell me how I treated her bad. And then, of course, Ron told the story and said, all the other things that he noticed in relation to how AJ treats Alexis. And she was just sitting there. I don't know, guys. My philosophy is if someone is in a situation and they're okay with it, you stay out of it. Because he seems to be carrying Alexis's problems on his head and she don't seem to care. So I think he needs to stay out of their business. After that, AJ and Kyra's reel played, and then their reel was a lot less cringier. I think because of the type of person that Kyra is, she doesn't come on as strong, so it wasn't as hard to watch. So in the reel, we did see that AJ changed his mind and he literally eliminated Kyra, then said he changed his mind and then eliminated Alexis. So apparently this is the first time that Alexis is seeing this, or this information is new to her. So Tommy was asking her how she feels about it. And I thought maybe she was going to be like, it is what it is. I've moved on from that. But no, in true Alexis fashion, she made an excuse for AJ, saying that, well, it really showed me that he had a hard time making the decision. The fact that, he chose her and then changed his mind. No, he did not. It was just for the show. He didn't have a hard time. Stop looking for reasons to think this man is still attracted or interested in you. He is not. Oh my God. Stop it. Stop. So after Tommy finished getting all the information out of AJ, he moved on to Kyra and asked her, what made you choose yourself? Like, after everything that, you went through with all these guys, what made you choose yourself in the end? And instead of just talking about how she felt and her process, she did vaguely mention, or rather she briefly mentioned that, she felt like she needed to get AJ a bit more. But of course she led with, my heart was really in the process with Jason. And listen, Jason was back there. He rolled his eyes when she said his name. Listen, I digress, but bear with me. I think we're missing something from this Kyra Jason story. Because he is so irritated and annoyed with her. It's like as soon as she says his name, he rolled his eyes. Like he looks too irritated. And then she is so hell bent on rehatching that situation. I feel like we missed something because I did see online where everyone was saying they spent Valentine's Day together, and then three days later he chose Liz. So I'm wondering maybe if they became intimate. I don't know, but I feel like we're missing something from this story because the passion and the hatred, something is not right, guys. We're missing something because Jason is giving us too much energy. Too much energy. Tommy then asks, where are y'all now? Silencio. Silence. Shh, shh. Hush. No sound from Kyra. No sound from AJ. And I was like, ooh, we already know something is wrong because none of them answered the question. So Tommy was like, yeah, anybody? And eventually, Kyra had to go into a little story time to let us know that she had a trip that was booked before the show for 2 weeks, some sort of vacation. And so she let AJ know that she was going to be leaving. And long story short, while she was gone, AJ actually went out with Alexis, like on a date. Apparently there was kissing and hugging and all of that. And so she didn't take well to that. And AJ, when asked about it from Tommy, I mean, it was really Alexis who chimed in with the, oh yes, we kissed and I have photos. And she still has not learned her lesson. Because what that means is he basically used you to fill a void because she wasn't around. And somehow that's not registering with Alexis. So Alexis told her side and she said that she had no idea that Kyra and AJ were dating. She just didn't speak to him after the show. And when her birthday came, she was the one who DM'd him. And then he asked her if he could take her out, I guess considering it was her birthday. And I'm just like, why is Alexis still DMing AJ? How many times does this guy need to tell you he does not want you? Like, it's embarrassing at this point. I don't know if you're embarrassed, because I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for you. Stop it. So, of course, AJ had to explain his stand, and he was basically like, look, there was no commitment with Kyra. I chose her, she didn't choose me. And then she kind of just left, and it left me feeling like she expected me to be in the same spot that she left me and just kind of waiting for her. Basically, I feel this is her MO because that's the same thing she tried to do with Jason. The difference is Jason didn't wait around, he moved on. So I feel like AJ, he said that was very tough on him, the fact that he chose her and she didn't choose him, and then her leaving after. So I'm thinking this was just his retaliation, wanting to show her that, look, I can move on as well. And so what does he do? He goes for the low-hanging fruit, the person who no matter what, he can call them, have a good time with them, and then drop them after, and that is Alexis. And so that's what he did. My take on it is I understand that dating is different for a lot of people. Some people like to multi-date, some people like to date monogamously, and I think that if that was not established, that you guys are exclusive, then he is free to date around. What I don't like is that he did so with Alexis because, I mean, y'all are fresh off the show. You knew that was a little bit too close to home, but I think that was the point. He did it to get her rise out of her, and even though I think she doesn't like him that much, there is this thing of ownership with her. So even though she doesn't like him, she's expecting that you like me more than I like you. So you're supposed to be there and waiting when I get back, just like he said. And so she did look pressed about that situation. So Tommy actually asked at the end of all of that back and forth or an explanation from all three of them. So AJ, like, which one of these women are you actually interested in dating? Because for far too long, you've been accommodating both of them. AJ said, and I quote, it's not Alexis. My goodness. This level of embarrassment is too much. It's too much. She's sitting there and he was just like, it's not Alexis. And he said it like, it's not Alexis. Like it's a big joke if we consider her. Listen. If it were me, I would be praying for the ground to just open up so I can just dive in. Dive. Oh my God. And she's sitting there like, and she's trying to save face like, oh, I know it wasn't going to be me. Like, no, you don't know. Because if you knew, you would not be DMing him. Okay? Stop it. Anyway, so he eventually was like, okay, Kyra is the one that I want to date. And so Tommy looks to Kyra and says, do you want to continue dating AJ? And of course, because we have to end on a cliffhanger, that's where he says, all right, we're going to save that for part two. And so that was the end of part one, guys. It wasn't as, as much drama as I thought, but there's still a part two, and that's where we're gonna see all the clarification that we need to get. Part one was still interesting. We had Ron, we had the Alexis, Kyra, AJ situation. So we're getting to the meat of the matter, and next week I'm looking forward to somebody being put in their place, David. So next week we see Jason saying that he might be wanting to go on a trip, might be wanting to go to Hawaii. I'm assuming that's with Liz. Jason looks very content next to Liz. His hand is around her because we know how he is when he's not interested in someone. He puts a lot of distance between himself and them. He's very close to her, leaned in, his arm is around her. So I would say that they're definitely still together, definitely still going strong. The next clip that came up was Liz and David addressing their issues, and I guess everything that happened between them right down to the elimination situation. So I'm excited to see how that goes. And after that, we see Kyra again yelling at Jason. I'm guessing rehashing the same old situation. And Jason was just like under his breath, I'm over this shit. I was just like, oh my, listen, when I say Jason is over Kyra, this is over. Like, there's no going back. I don't want to talk about this no more. I don't even want to be seeing you anymore. He looks so irritated just by being in her presence. Whatever happened between them, because I don't think we're getting the full story, she needs to let it go because it's done. It's burnt. It's roasted. Okay? Leave it. Just leave it alone. Then Vernisha shows up on the screen and says he was hanging out with Stacy and Chrysanthemum more than he was hanging out with me. Joel was out here basically saying that he's single. So I don't want to jump to conclusions, but needless to say, I don't think Joel and Vernisha worked out. I've been saying that throughout my reviews. Joel has not been serious. He came with a very endearing storyline in terms of the wife and the kids. But Joel is out here still rolling in the streets. Like, he's not ready to be anyone's husband or in any form of committed relationship. But let's not jump to conclusions. Let's wait and see what happens. But that is my bet. And so that wrapped up everything that happened in part one of the reunion. Talk to me in the comments. Talk to me about the fashions, the outfits. What did you like? What did you not like? I will address the other outfits next week when we start to see more of other people like David and so on. And tell me, what do you think about the situation with Kyra, Jason? Do you think there's more to the story? Because I definitely think we're missing something. Tell me what you feel about Alexis, because baby, the embarrassment, I can't take it. I don't even want to hear from her in part two. Just go sit in the back and be quiet, because I don't even know where is the audacity from to even speak after such embarrassment. I don't know. Guys, just chat to me in the comments. Let me know everything that you're feeling and what are your anticipations for part two. Until then, guys,